everyone. Welcome to the Hindu Current Affairs for Beginners. In this session, we'll be seeing the issues of 25th February. So let's start our session. Our first article is EVM is information under the Right to Information Act, says the CIC. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of governance, and the subtopic is important aspects of governance, transparency and accountability. And here there is a mention of CIC. This comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of statutory organizations. So from the prelims point of view, what is important from this article is we should know all about the CIC and the information commissioners, their appointment, eligibility and other facts related to this CIC. So now what is the context of this article? According to this article, an electronic voting machine is information under the Right to Information Act of 2005, and an applicant can demand this information, that is about the EVM, from the Election Commission of India by paying 10 rupees. This was said by the Central Information Commission. It says that Section 2 Clause F of the RTI Act has defined a term known as information, and this EVM comes under this information. So this information can be demanded from the Election Commission of India. Here you can see the definition that was clearly given. As per the Section 2 Clause F of RTI Act, any material in any form, including records, documents, memos, emails, opinions, advices, press releases, circulars, orders, logbooks, contracts, reports, data material that is held in any electronic form, and information also relating to any private body that can be accessed by the public authority is known as information according to Section 2 Clause F of RTI Act. Now, let us see about this Central Information Commission. Section 12 Clause 3 of RTI Act of 2005 says that it is the Prime Minister who will be the chairperson of a committee and the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, and a Union Cabinet Minister as nominated by the Prime Minister will be the selecting committee in appointing the Chief Information Commissioner and the Information Commissioners. These people will be selected based on their eminence in public life with wide knowledge and experience in law, science and technology, social service, management, journalism, mass media or administration and governance. And these members should not be either a member of parliament or a member of legislative assembly of any state or union territory, or they shouldn't even hold any office of profit or connected with any political party, or they shouldn't do any business or pursue any other profession. If we see the term of office of these members, the Chief Information Commissioner, he will hold the office for a term of 5 years from the date on which he enters his office, and he will not be eligible for reappointment. It is not eligible. And his salary and the allowances he get is equal to that of a Chief Election Commissioner. These are some of the facts that are related to this CIC. The next article is DNA forensics, a vital tool in cracking wildlife crimes. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of environment. From this article, though the entire article is not that much important, but from this article we should know what are these Schedule 2 species under Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. The wildlife laws have divided the species into schedules, that is 5 schedules. These schedules are ranked from 1 to 5. Now if we see the species in Schedule 1, these members are best protected. If they face any danger, the persons, whoever is the cause, will have to face severe punishments. If they face any danger, in the sense if anybody try to hunt them, these people will face severe punishments. Some of the animals that come under the scheduled one are wild boars, nilgai thar, rhesus monkeys, all this. And scheduled 2 members, 2 and 3. These members were also protected, but they can be hunted under some specific conditions. Whereas the scheduled 4 species were also protected, but if these animals were hunted, the penalties were much lower. In schedule 5, it includes the animals that can be hunted. Some of the examples of this schedule 5 are common crow, fruit bats, mice, rats, all these. But there is also another schedule which is known as schedule 6, but it is not related to animals, it is related to plants. The schedule 6 contains plants that are prohibited from cultivation and planting. So from this we can say that what is this Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 is all about. It is to protect the wild animals, birds and plants in order to ensure the ecological and environmental security of the country. The next article is Terror Timeline. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of India and its neighborhood, and here we can see there is a mention of FATF. So we can say this comes under important international institutions, agencies, their structure and their mandate. From this article, from the prelims point of view, what is important here is what is this FATF, what is this grey list and what is this black list and what is this G7. We'll see all this. This article is saying that the Financial Action Task Force, it has decided to keep Pakistan on its grey list at the end of its week-long meeting in Paris. India has lobbied hard to get the global financial body, the Financial Action Task Force, to blacklist Pakistan for non-compliance in curbing terror funding. So what is the background for this India lobbying to put Pakistan under the blacklist of FATF? India wants Pakistan to be under the closer scrutiny immediately, and it is demanding the stronger implementation in curbing terror financing by the Pakistan. We are saying that FATF has decided to put Pakistan in its grey list. They are going to continue. Then when did it place Pakistan in grey list? It is in June for failing to of 2017 because it had failed to reduce terror financing. But first, before going into these details, we should know about this FATF. What is this Financial Action Task Force? This Financial Action Task Force is an intergovernmental body that is established in 1989 on the initiative of G7 summit in Paris. This body is a policy-making body that works to generate necessary political will to bring national, legislative and regulatory reforms in various areas. What are those areas? It is to combat money laundering and to combat terrorist financing. The secretariat of this organization is housed at the OECD headquarters at Paris. The objective of this organization is to set standards and promote effective implementation of legal, regulatory and operational measures to combat this money laundering and terrorist financing and other areas which will threaten the integrity of international financial system. So this organization will set some standards and it will also monitor the progress of its members in implementing these measures, and it will review the money laundering and terrorist financing techniques, and it will implement the countermeasures and promote the adoption and implementation of these appropriate measures across the world. So now, what is this blacklist and grey list? This Financial Action Task Force will maintain two different lists of countries. One is those countries that have deficiencies in their money laundering and terrorist financing rules, but they commit to an action plan to address these loopholes. And the other set of countries are the ones, though they were having deficiencies, but they will not have any action plan to address these. These are the another set of countries. These countries which were committed to address their problems in this money laundering and terrorist financing were considered under grey list, whereas the other countries that come under blacklist. So what will be the consequences once a country is blacklisted? This Financial Action Task Force will ask the other countries to apply countermeasures, increase the cost of doing business with that country, and in some cases it will sever the measures in all areas. Right now there were only two countries that were in the blacklist. They are Iran and North Korea, and there were 7 countries in the grey list, including Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Syria and Yemen. So in the backdrop of recent Pulwama attack, India is lobbying to put this Pakistan also under this grey list. Here you can see in this article that was clearly mentioned, once a country is blacklisted, that means it will enhance the financial scrutiny of its government, and possible sanctions will be imposed against its central bank and a downgrade of financial and credit institutions. These are the consequences that a country has to face once it is blacklisted by the FATF. The next article is Deodorizing Sewage. This article comes under GS paper 1 under the topic of urbanization. From this article, in this article there is a mention of Swachh Bharat Mission and CPCB, all this. But we have already seen what is the CPCB and Swachh Bharat Mission in our previous videos. But we have not covered about this AMRUT mission. Now we'll see what is this AMRUT mission. Atal Mission for Urban Rejuvenation and Transformation. This is the new avatar of Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. This program adopts a project approach in order to provide basic infrastructure services that are related to water supply, sewerage, stormwater drains, transportation, and development of green spaces and parks with special provisions for meeting the needs of children. Under this mission, 10% of the budget allocation will be given to the states and union territories as an incentive based on their performance in the previous year. This program will be implemented in 500 locations where there is a population of 1 lakh and above. It will cover some of the cities that were situated on the stems of main rivers, a few state capitals, and important cities that were located in hilly areas, islands, and tourist areas. Under this program, the states will get the flexibility in designing schemes based on the needs of identified cities, and the states were having flexibility in executing and monitoring these schemes. They will only submit the state annual action plan to the center, and based on that action plan, funds will be released. The center will provide assistance to the extent of 50% of the project cost for cities and towns with a population of up to 10 lakh, and 1/3 of the project cost assistance will be provided for those with a population of above 10 lakhs. So under this mission, the states will transfer funds to the urban local bodies within 7 days of transfer by the central government, and there will be no diversion of funds. If it is done, the center will penalize them and it will charge these bodies with severe actions. Now let's see today's prelims questions. The first one is regarding this GST, and the other question is the term domain name server recently mentioned in news is related to. Try to answer these questions and we'll see the answers for these questions in our next video. And this is our LawX Loans website where you can access the notes for this video. Thank you.